Hello and welcome everybody to the front nine coverage of round 2 of the CCR Open presented by Discraft, the world leader in disc sports. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by the Chanimal himself, Chandler Fry. How's it going, buddy?
You know what? I'm feeling pretty good right now. I got to watch myself on Jomez.
It's going to be an awesome round. We have a lot of, again, differing play styles.
There we
have McBeth, Paul McBeth, 4-time world champion in the lead right now.
We saw some putt and woes first round. Hopefully he's going to fix those up.
Yep. We also have Michigan local and Discraft golden boy, Tim Barham.
There we go. Look at that smile. Just got a fresh haircut, feeling good.
Looking good here. And Garrett Gurthie, and I made a mistake here. Garrett Gurthie is actually in the lead with a 13 under par after round 1, and he looked good, and he is ready to rock and roll. We also have Chandler Fry.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's trying to be all serious.
Brand new Discraft signee, ready to make a splash.
There we go.
Let me get back to hole 1. What are you thinking here, Chandler?
I'm thinking a low shot with a Z Extreme. But mostly you're going to see a big sky hyzer from the pros. Yeah, I don't really know what to do on this hole, to be honest with you.
The shot shape is really difficult to access. I mean, it looks like a simple dog leg to the left, but again, it's such a specific type of hyzer, and it's a shot that a lot of power players have, but the discs that they're throwing are not that overstable. They're throwing medium stability distance drivers as high as they can, and we did have a right to left win.
Garrett listening for those claps. He liked it. We see Paul throwing a similar shot with a force, I'm guessing. Boom.
And that's not a normal hyzer, folks. That is a smash.
That's beautiful.
And to get the disc to track that far to the left is very challenging as well.
Yes. We got Tim probably throwing a similar shot.
It looked like he might have been throwing an Onyx.
Really? Nice.
Looks like a 10-speed control driver and skied that just a little bit too much. But he's sitting at about 38 feet.
Yeah. Not a bad shot. I should have a putt.
So you're going with a Z Extreme.
I'm going the low shot. It worked for me in practice a couple times. I felt good with it, and then I did that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not the way you want to start a round, but
absolutely not.
I'm just barely on the fringe, so we should see a... Oh, man.
I see a Pro D zone.
Yeah.
Coming out.
Trying to
nice
flex that
line.
out. Came out a little early. Should have a circle's edge putt.
Oh,
so. A little bit of a tester for the first hole, but if you make that putt, you're definitely feeling good.
Oh, yeah.
Got Tim going for a big jumper.
And Tim is a very aggressive putter, and he will try to rain putts from all over the place today.
Absolutely. Garrett.
Just outside the circle and almost replicates his round 1 shot.
He wanted that one, you can tell.
Chandler putting with a Challenger OS.
There we go.
And that's a confident putt to start the round.
That definitely felt good to convert on that.
Especially after kind of a rough break, the one kind of dangling branch you had to kick into the woods.
Did the exact same thing first round, too. Paul. Oh, the putting woes continue.
Oh, boy.
Dang.
And I mean, as much as it's unfortunate for Paul, you know, I think some of the competitors around him are taking a sigh of relief. I mean, it's with how good he's been throwing the disc, it's you know, gives you a little bit of hope after seeing him miss a putt like that. So Garrett taps in his par.
As much as we don't want to see him miss putts.
Absolutely, but when you're competing against him, it's like you kind of got to take what you can get when he's on fire. Tim tapping in his par, and that's the thing you'll see a lot in this hole. A lot of pars, a lot of drives that are not quite in position. And moving into hole number 2, this is a hole that, you know, positioning is another extremely important element to it. Long turnover for a righty. You want to get as far as you can to the right in that short grass, ideally. The tall grass is in bounds. If you go too far to the right, you do have OB, but if you're wanting to make that gap to the basket as big as possible, you do want to drift it left to right for sure.
And the trees, the jungle on the right and left are so hard to get out of.
Super thick. What is Garrett trying to throw here?
I'm not entirely sure what disc that is, but it's looking pretty good.
It looked like an audible call from round 1. He threw something a little bit more understable, and he threw that pretty soft, but that's a great position.
It should have a pretty simple hyzer to the basket. And Paul throwing the Zeus. Out of his hand, he did not like this. He was pretty sure it was going to be too far right. But in typical Paul fashion, let's watch what happens. Perfect. 50-foot putt.
And that's in the mouth. And he actually was talking about that line in round 1. He was thinking the eagle was a definite possibility, but that's a massive shot to throw.
We got Tim here.
And is he throwing a thrasher?
I feel like he is. Oh, he clips that tree, takes him down. That was a good-looking shot. He should still have a pretty accessible shot for the second.
Even if you're just getting out of the gap, a 4 save is not out of the question.
I'm going Punisher here. I'm trying to get right, but I can't seem to get over on that disc enough. So, but still a decent shot.
And that's where the hole kind of tricks you. Paul thought his shot was terrible.
Oof.
For how far right it was going, but it was absolutely perfect. So I really like whoever designed the hole, making it as challenging as it is. Tim going massive sidearm.
Let's see if it's far enough. Oh, it catches the shrubs.
And that backside play is something I actually had not even seen all day.
I'm in a horrible position here. I have 2 trees and a post. And so I'm trying to get out left enough and not hit one of those first trees, and I just put it too far.
Yeah, looks at about 45, 50 from the basket. Into the thick stuff.
Garrett's going big spike hyzer here.
Yet again, creating his own window.
Boom. That angle is so hard to do. It's so beautiful to watch. And he tombstones it right by the basket.
And it's actually, spike hyzer is a great play out there today because of how soft the ground was. The tombstone coming from the spike hyzer ensures that your disc is not going to move anywhere.
I told him same exact spot.
Mike almost died.
Yeah, and he did that 2 rounds in a row. He's out for blood apparently. Oh, and he liked that one.
It's so fun playing with Garrett. He's just always so happy. That's where shot landed. Man. I don't think he liked that putt either.
Wow.
I think in his head he just threw 2 mediocre shots and still got an eagle.
Picture perfect eagle.
Man.
If he had not said anything at all, I would have been wildly impressed, but now I think he got lucky. That was beautiful. And he cracked a little bit of a smile, and Double G is astounded by that.
We got Tim in the jungle.
In the world shocked. You must have done something right.
Yeah. Tim's a little bit to the left, but he should have a pretty easy putt. I'm trying to make this putt. I feel good. And I hit a branch.
A little bit low.
I don't think that was going in either way, but I'll blame it on the branch. Tim with a solid par putt.
And that's a great save for par. You never want to take a bogey at any of these early holes in the front 9. With especially how little danger these holes have, the only way you could get into trouble is by either missing a putt or just throwing a really poor upshot into the thick stuff. And Garrett saves a great birdie.
Absolutely. He was a little out of position off the drive, but it worked out for him.
Yeah.
With that crazy spike hyzer approach. Just tapping in an easy par. Definitely want a birdie on this one.
Oh, yeah. And after seemingly perfect eagle look, a birdie and a couple pars, we move into the next hole, which probably, I think the course calls it a par 5, but I think it scores more like a par 4.
Yeah, what you want to do is just throw as long as you can and as straight as you can down the fairway and hope to not be behind one of these pines.
And I think the more right you go off the tee, you're going to see the players trying to drift the disc left to right to get themselves in that right side lane. That gives them a lot more straight look to the basket.
We have Paul here. What's he throwing there?
I think he's going with a Kong right now. Or a Zeus. New lingo.
I think you want a bit more turn on that, but that should be fine. If it misses all these little trees, yeah, he's good.
He should be fine. And actually, for a righty, if you go really far to the left, you'll actually have a decent hyzer play to the basket. It's really just being straight in the middle that's challenging.
Garrett loves holes like these because he can just smash.
Yeah. Anytime he can throw a max distance flex, he's going to do it.
Man.
And that's the thing about this hole that's so... I guess you could call it frustrating. All those little trees make some of the best looking shots not look like the best looking shots.
And you can't really see them from the tee pad, so it's hard to avoid them.
Yeah, and Tim unfortunately clips the bottom of one of those trees, and he's going to have a little bit longer look to the basket. Is that a TI Force, or what are you throwing
That's
here?
a old gummy Z Force that I've been throwing and liking quite a bit.
Didn't quite get enough drift on it. But again, you're on the left side of the fairway, so you do have a straighter look.
I'm staring directly at the basket. Tim trying to pump this one down the fairway, puts it a little left, clips the tree, but fortunately he gets out to the right and not behind it.
Yeah. And again, a 4 in this hole is going to feel like a par, but a 3 on this hole is going to feel like a eagle birdie hybrid. It's definitely a great 3. And that is flawless. Oh, my gosh. What is that?
I thought this one was in. It's an Austin Turner Swirly Glow ESP Vulture.
Laser beam about 400 feet, and he is right next to the basket for his 3.
That one felt good. tapping eagles always feel pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Paul throwing the big Z Luna puts it a little short.
Garrett going Firebird, I believe, sidearm. And he sawed that one off, and that is not a fun spot to be.
He had the right angle, just not the right power, I think.
And he might not even have a look at the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this hole has definitely been scoring really interesting. I mean, like you just did. You know, you went distance driver, fairway driver, and you're going to get a 3, and they're calling that an eagle. Paul went putter on his second shot.
We have 76% of the field birdie in this hole.
Yeah, so it's definitely a hole that plays in between a par 4 and a par 5, but every pro player that's looking to win the tournament is trying to get a 3 on this.
And Garrett said once he went in there, he found pretty much every mosquito on the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautifully manicured fairways, but the rough is
rough.
every sense of the word.
Nice birdie from Paul there. And you with
in a nasty 3 after that laser beam.
It feels nice to say you got an eagle, but I know I got a birdie.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, regardless of what the par is, it's really what more matters is how the field scores on it.
Looks like Tim's going to the beach after this round with his towel.
He is ready to relax after this massive course that we played twice in one day, and that StarFrame is cha-ching, $25, donated from JomezPro. Moving into hole number 4, a kind of a longer par 4 or par 3, and we don't have any lefties to go spike hyzer here. So what are we going to see?
We're going to see some turnover shots with mid-ranges most likely down the middle. So you want to aim for the tree on the left and turn right just before it, and hopefully get to the basket.
One of the prettiest shots in disc golf, that slow tracking, you know, left to right or right to left turnover shot, and you're going with a buzz.
I'm going with a stable buzz. I tried to get some on it, but I just didn't put enough, and I should be in probably like 40-foot, 45-foot range.
And I think that's what the beautiful part is about that shot shape is you're not flipping it up to turn it over. You're hitting it on that ante right away, and you're flattening it towards the basket. And that is a very high-level shot. Paul's going to try to do the same thing with this buzz.
He's throwing a buzz, and he did exactly what I did.
The spin control and tempo control that it takes to throw that shot is so precise, and it's so beautiful to watch. And the buzz is designed for that. And we also have Garrett actually is committing to that roller still.
Trying to correct his line from the first round.
And I think he is. But maybe a little bit
He actually
deep.
went way deep.
Whoa. Parked the long pin, I believe. So he's at the edge of circle 2. I did not expect that.
You know what that means, though? We get to see a sonic throw.
Oh, boy. That sounds nice. Yeah. Tim is going with a huge sidearm here.
I did not know he had that sidearm.
You know, it's crazy to me to even watch Tim throw backhands because when I remember him, back in the day, he was almost primarily sidearm.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
His backhand game has come along like crazy, and now he's a lot more balanced of a player. So I'm not surprised at all to see that sidearm.
Yeah, Garrett trying to throw in the sonic. So close. Just
so
a little
close,
past.
and it's such a safe run, too. He knows that if he misses, he's not going very far past the basket, so he can run those from long ways.
I didn't commit to that shot, but
saw that by the body language, for sure. But
Tim with the birdie putt. Nice confident putt there from Tim.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, spike forehand is... that is a long forehand. I can't even fathom throwing a forehand like that in this hole. But Paul's tapping in that beautiful birdie after that buzz shot, and we are going to split into a word from our sponsors.
Go.
After a couple of birdies, we're going to move into hole number 5, and since we do have all righties on this hole, we're probably going to see some similar shots here.
Just big hyzers with some fast discs.
Yep. Really isn't any other option for a pro player to throw here. If you have the distance, you are going to try to go over everything just because of how many little trees there are on the ground. We're going to see potentially some spike hyzers from the more powerful players.
And this is a hole you want to get. Paul going big hyzer.
And that looks a little bit better. That looks solid.
That is looking parked.
And he definitely compensated for going short on the first round. And he's right next to the basket. Tim, I think, going Kong or Zeus. Forgive me yet again. Brand new name changes.
People understand. That's looking, big skip. Has about a 31-foot putt.
Yeah.
for birdie. I'm
This
going
is
that
that same
Z-force
force.
again. I thought I put it out a little too right, but
It definitely flipped up a tiny bit and was
Yeah.
panning, and actually that allows you to throw a lot better shot.
yeah, it had a weird skip too. It hit the ground and went opposite direction.
Yeah, a little bit strange, just with the
Yeah.
soft ground that we have.
Might have
today.
hit a root or something.
Yeah. That's a little tight.
Yeah.
That's going to sit down.
Hits that tree, falls right there.
Oh,
Boom.
yeah. That's,
Should be
that's
a
some
20
definite
footer.
love right there.
This is definitely a tester putt. It's a little windy, not too windy, but oh, perfect.
That feels great to get early on in the round.
Such a solid putt.
Yeah, and Tim's been throwing spin putts like that for a long time, and again, you'll see him run from all over the green here today.
Garrett with a 15, 20 footer. Easy bird.
Little tree love from that pine, but
Yeah.
again, that's why you're seeing the same line from all the righties. It's the safest shot and
Yeah.
gives you the most room for error.
That felt pretty good to connect on that
Oh,
after
yeah.
the last hole.
And then Paul, after throwing a flawless hyzer, is going to tap in his birdie as well.
Oof. Kind of scary there.
Yeah, I know. And another StarFrame, cha-ching, $25 donated from JomezPro.
To Eagles Wings Disc Golf. Or Eagles Wing Disc Golf. I don't know.
Eagles Wings Disc Golf. We're moving into hole 6, par 5, 1,025 feet. Another hole where placement is absolutely key here.
Absolutely. You're going to see a lot of left to right shots. You want to get as much distance off, but still stay in the left side of the fairway. And then you're going to see maybe a couple hyzers from
Yes. You want to push as far left as you can off the tee, and then you can either go left or right on your second shot.
Paul's going big Zeus to the left side.
And as you can see, the confidence he has drifting this thing is unbelievable. It's going to be flattening perfectly as it lands to the ground.
And he actually wanted that to get a little left, but he just finds himself in the perfect
That
spot
is-
anyway. So
Full confidence in that
Yeah.
disc, and he is way up there.
Tim's throwing a probably pop-up hyzer down the right side. Or just a straight.
Straight up hyzer.
Yeah.
I think he probably wanted that to have a little bit more hyzer angle on it, but he did get over that guardian tree.
And he's definitely playing for placement over power. That's a great shot.
And he's more than likely not even thinking about eagle here. I
Yeah.
think he's more going for the 4.
I'm trying to lace it down the middle, have it finish left, and I clipped the tree a little bit and found myself in a pretty bad spot. Well, we'll see what happens.
And that's the interesting thing about this hole. You really want to push it. On this one, you want to go as left as possible, and that's why they're throwing the flexes, because the tall grass on the left side is not OB whatsoever. So you can push it as far out there as you want, and you have a wide open lane for your second one.
Garrett was looking for a bit more anhyzer on that shot.
He actually went too far left and found himself in a pretty nasty patch.
Yeah, I kind of yanked this one. I thought I went right into that tree. But luckily I got some tree love, stopped before the long grass, and I should be able to see the basket at least.
Yeah. And Garrett is still probably trying to go for that birdie.
Oof. That is smashed.
Oh my gosh.
If it didn't hit that tree, would have flexed out perfectly.
And that's why he plays the hole the way he plays it. If
Yeah.
he pushes it that far left, he has total freedom to throw a max distance shot.
Tim's going for another placement shot. He's not going for the basket. It's still too far. He's going for a big flex shot over the trees, hopefully landing in the fairway with it easy up and down for possibly a birdie, I hope.
Yeah.
That's a great looking shot. Playing some shade golf.
Playing some shade golf, some Masters golf, trying to find the shade. Paul's going with, I can't really quite see. I think this is another Zeus. And he's looking eagle here. And I think this
Yeah.
this is maybe a newer one he's put in his bag. You can tell he's not quite trusting that break left to right. And he's stalled out in the same place he was in the first round.
Yeah, not easy. Not easy. At this point, we've played like 24 holes. So we're feeling pretty fatigued. At least I am at this
Oh,
point.
and it was definitely a grind out there today.
Yeah.
But clearly not enough for you to throw a massive flex. That was huge.
Put myself in circle two, give myself a possible birdie after a pretty
Oh yeah.
bad first and second shot.
Tim going thumber, huh?
Yeah, he's got all the tools, it seems. That's looking great.
Tim is definitely one of the techier players that I've played with. He has a huge arsenal of shots. I didn't even know he had a thumber, but I'm not surprised. to be
Nice little
honest with
bounce
you.
and roll to the
That was
basket
perfect.
there.
And Double G in the park again, just playing catch with his his Sonic.
Oh, this is so close every time. He's looking at the crowd. Like,
And
what
he-
do I got to do?
And he wanted an eagle real bad on that one. He's bound to drop one in eventually. And Paul going again, zone from the rough.
He told us before he threw the shot, I might be coming out. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, he was. The rough in general, there's so many vines and thorns and different things that can catch your disc coming out. So
I didn't think it was possible to put low on this basket.
And hitting the bin on that just feels like you got punched in the stomach there.
Yeah. I actually had my caddy punch me in the stomach after that shot.
And a birdie from Paul.
Yeah, good scramble from Paul for a birdie.
And he has gone 5 in a row after eagling hole number 2. And
that's pretty good, I think.
Starting to feel good again, starting to heat up. we see a couple more birdies and a par coming in. And that is a decent spread on that hole moving into the next one. This one they call a par 5, I believe, but this is another one of those kind of in between par 4, par 5.
Yeah.
A 3 is going to feel like an eagle.
Absolutely.
And a 4 is going to definitely feel like a par.
It's a tough shot. There's the initial gap to get through, but once you get through, there's not much danger. There's just those trees, once again, that if you land right behind them or in them, you have a tough second shot.
Exactly. And like I was mentioning in the first round, it looks like Paul is, yanking this one over to the right, but you actually want to be in that right pocket of the fairway. I think he actually is going too far left for what he wanted.
He wanted that to finish more right. Yeah.
And as generous as these fairways are, you want to land them in very specific spots because of all the random trees. And Tim kind of skied that a little bit.
Yeah, I think he wanted some turn on that one. But honestly, you can just play from a 4 from there and get a birdie. So
yeah.
Then Garrett's looking to smash one with a destroyer. Boom.
And this is the shot that I like. It looks like you're completely disregarding the fairway, but there is a pocket off to the right that he landed perfectly.
And that's actually the short position right there. I think he has an eagle putt at that right now.
Yeah. He that's exactly where you want to be now. He has a straight look at that green, and you're going with that force again.
I was trying to follow Garrett's line. I thought I put it a little bit too right. It's kind of tracking to the right side, but then it flexes up because it is a force.
And there's so many holes like that out here where you think that, the line is to go a lot straighter, but you really want to throw a long flex shot and challenge that tall grass. Tim going big flip up. That might be a glow force. I know he's pretty partial to those, but I actually think that is his GMC nuke.
Oh.
A very
nice.
long flying disc. Very good.
I gotta start throwing some nukes.
They go a long way.
I'm throwing a vulture here. I'm trying to get a good shape on it to get to the opening and the trees down there.
And that is a big turnover. Wow.
And this felt really good out of my hands. Almost got Mike there. Look at that.
Holy crow.
That felt really good out of position to get up to that point and have an eagle putt. That felt really nice.
Feels good to know your equipment that well to be able to throw that type of high-level shot shape. And Paul,
Absolutely.
After seeing Double G's shot the first round, is trying to follow suit.
He did not like that.
Yeah, and that was a shot he didn't like that actually didn't land in the best spot. But
he found himself in a horrible spot.
Yeah, he's a decent spot for an up and down for 4. And that was definitely yanked.
But he's fine.
Wow, not a bad
Circle
kick.
2.
Yeah. And that's the thing about this hole being a par 5. It definitely scores more as a par 4.
Absolutely. This shot blew my mind. He went through that little V right there in the tree.
It looked like he did it on purpose.
He definitely did. He told me he was looking for it. He was looking at a different line, and then his caddy said, you should go for that.
And that's where the techie sidearm that he has that comes into play that I was talking about earlier.
Such a solid shot. And Paul did not go very far on that shot. He went about 25 feet.
He didn't even get out of the rough, did he?
He did not.
Oh, man. He is well overdue to get this to land. He's been throwing those all day.
And this is a eagle putt. Really want it.
Oh.
That felt good.
After taking the only par on the previous hole, you're snagging a stroke on these players, taking a beautiful 3.
That's the most you're ever going to see me run.
Oh, yeah.
Paul is still in a tough spot, scrambling out here. But with this being a par 5, he still is in position to get a par. So, and Garrett, I think, tapping in for a birdie.
Tapping in for a birdie. I think he was trying to go for that massive hyzer and just clip that early tree. But a 4, this is really not losing strokes to anybody.
And Paul just not taking any time at all and just putting that in for the par. But a par on this definitely feels like a bogey.
Especially if you're at the top of the leaderboard, any of the top 10 players in this tournament, a 5, which is considered a par, is going to be losing you strokes here.
Absolutely.
Tim tapping in after a beautiful approach shot. We move into hole number 8, which is one of the tackier par 3s in the course.
You're going to want to go to the right of that tree, not where the drone is flying. And then get through a few gaps. There's a few gaps in this hole. See the gap right there in the middle of the screen. Get right through that and then park the hole. We're going to see, I think Tim's going to throw a lefty flex shot. Not lefty, sorry. Right flex shot. I'm going with a Pro D zone. I sawed it off a little bit, but with this hole, as long as you get through the first gap, you have a good chance of getting down to the green.
Exactly. And especially throwing that baseline plastic, it's going to hit the ground and stick. And
absolutely.
Not go anywhere. Tim is going with the sidearm, or like you said, a lefty. Ouch.
That's the mistake that you do not want to make on this hole. And then Garrett throwing a rock, it looks like, or putter of some sort.
Yeah, I think the optimal play on the hole is that medium stability putter or a mid-range to kind of have it flipping as it's kind of hyzering out. You don't want it to crash out left, but you want it to push forward like Paul is going to try to do with this Jawbreaker Wasp.
Out of his hands, I thought this was perfect, but it's just a little low.
That's the thing. Yeah, you have to be very precise and push it forward and challenge that middle tree.
It's a little bug friend. Tim said after this shot he forgot how to throw a flex. He meant to throw a flex on that one, but just came out
didn't
hyzer.
Trust his disc.
Yeah.
Or,
it's unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate.
Garrett coming out of the woods with that Sonic. It's going to be an easy 3. Paul wants this. You can see by his body language.
Oh, yeah.
Just didn't put enough on it.
Just low, and he's the past, few holes or that we've seen him try to make long putts on. He's really not seemed to commit to any of them, really. So, that's how good he's driving. Oh yeah, fantastic putt from Tim.
He's looking at a double bogey if he doesn't make that. And I was not expecting to get any strokes on this hole, but it worked out pretty well.
It's definitely a nice birdie to get. With how short it is, a lot of people are hitting early trees and getting bogeys, and as you can see, almost double bogeys.
Yeah.
Just based on not hitting the line. Double G is going to tap in his par, and even though it's one of the shorter holes in the course, we did not see that many birdies. We saw just one and actually a bogey come out of there.
Sure.
And as you can see, we have a little bit of shakeup coming in on the leaderboard. We have a few new names popping up, and the course is definitely scoreable. So we see some people moving up. We see Andrew Kallick. We see Austin Hanna moving up some spots.
Trevor Harbolt getting up there.
Yep. And
Sam Lee.
Yeah. And we move into hole number 9. This is a par 4 where placement is kind of the name of the game here. You really don't need to bite too much off the tee. We only really have danger on the right side if you just yank your drive, but we want to position ourselves to get through this mouth as easily as possible. So the farther left you go without going into the rough, the better.
If you're able to see the basket on your second shot, you probably threw a good first shot. Yeah. And I'm going high TI force, and I just didn't put enough on this to get left.
And as much as you're in bounds, you definitely want to be a lot more left. And like you said, the goal is to be able to see the basket from your lie.
If you're too right, you're just pinched.
Yes, and Garrett is going to hopefully make the correction, and that needs to get down.
I lost it. There it is.
And that is still too far right. He actually is going to have a very challenging, potentially a stretch out, patent pending shot to the basket.
He definitely wanted to get more left on that shot.
Paul going with a
force, it looks like.
Yeah. And he said that's one of his favorite runs of distance driver that he's ever thrown, and he's juiced it too far as well. That's the interesting thing about this hole. It's not long, but a 2 is not likely, so positioning yourself for a good 3 is the way to go. And I think Tim is throwing an Onyx.
That's a pretty good-looking shot.
Yeah, a little bit slower driver, a little bit more controlled, and he's going to be a little bit better positioning for the 3.
He is such a technical player. He plays for position.
Oh, yeah, and that's kind of what you have to do out here. Distance does not matter that much on about half the holes. And you're going with a D zone.
This is sawed off a little bit, but it still penetrates pretty far, and I have a circle 2 putt in the woods.
Tim is going with a putter turnover, I believe.
Get through those trees.
And that was so clean.
Hit that little stick right
That
there,
was
slowed him down.
definitely a technical shot as we talk about him being a techie player.
I love this play.
Paul going anti-techie. Paul going...
He's going Plinko.
Yeah, Paul going Plinko.
That hit like 5 branches on the way down. Just perfect.
You can either make the shot look pretty or you can make the shot work, and he chose the latter.
His
And
decision-making
like,
on the course is pretty impressive.
Very impressive and super confident no matter what shot he's throwing.
Garrett with the Sonic, looking to put this in.
And Garrett choosing to make it look pretty.
Yeah. I'm so happy with those Sonics. It just makes the world a
he's
better
throwing them
place.
so well. I haven't seen him throw them this much.
Yeah.
And it would have been nice for you to get that 3 after that sawed-off forehand, but
Felt good, but just a
settle
little
for 4
short.
here.
Oh, no.
Oh,
That's a big mistake.
definitely uncharacteristic.
You got to make those putts, especially when you're battling with Paul, because he's not going to give you too many.
And it could be a time when he realized that they were tied.
Yeah.
The thing when you're kind of on fire and you see someone else chasing you, you start to play against them rather than the course.
Yeah. I just tapped in a 4 there. Kind of pretty unhappy with that shot, with that hole, but moving on. Yeah, Garrett's not happy with that.
And after a couple of birdies and a couple of pars, and he is not happy about that. Rightfully so. And that was the front 9. Definitely have a ball game here. And thank you so much for joining us and watching the round with us. And be sure to like and subscribe to JomezPro on YouTube. And check out their Patreon as well. We will catch you for the back 9. Coming soon. Thank you.
See you soon.